Good afternoon, Sacred Spiritual Healer. With a message for the Divine Masculines of what the Divine Feminines are releasing and letting go of. Alright, I just made a mess of my cards, so give me a second. So we already did the Divine message for the Feminines from the Masculine spirits. So I've called in the spirits and higher selves for the Divine Feminines of the collective. And we are going to share with the Divine Masculine what the Feminines are releasing and letting go of. Call in my spirit guide, angels, and spirits around me. To give true and precise messages to the Divine Masculine, what the Feminines are releasing. What are they letting go of? Overall energy for the Feminine. Okay, awesome. Beautiful. So first up is the Mustang, the mare, and she's releasing this Mustang. What are Mustangs mares? This brute mare maybe. Anyway, it's a mare because we're dealing with the feminines, okay, masculines. She is in her power, higher self. She is shining brightly. She has her third eye open. She's feeling her oats. So they feel like these look almost like oats. Holding her chest out. Really doing the inner work. This is someone who's most likely stepping into her power as a high priestess, or just right there at the gate, ready to transcend into it. Okay? So she's feeling good. I'm sure the masculines are feeling her light shine. You know how that card usually is the Wild Mustang to me card of, and I'm sure there's mares that are in that pack of Wild Mustangs, but that's like the brute mare, beautiful. She's beautiful. I don't know. I see through the card. So the camel here, their energy is very much in their emotions. The waxing moon, they've released things recently and they can feel it allowed positive things to come into their life with the releasing. Perhaps during the Mercury retrograde, a lot of things come up from the depth of the soul that they had to deal with, those triggers, past emotions as a child, etc. They went in and did the healing because they're at this level. They know to go in and do the inner child healing. This is someone probably really studying the journey of this connection. They've gone in and they are releasing with this camel the scarcity. Like a camel carries just what they need to get from point A to point B, nothing more, right? So the water that they carry in their body to get across the desert, they carry enough for them. That's it. Carry enough to get from this point of the desert to this point of the desert. If it's a dry spell, it's a dry spell. But they instinctively know, intuitively know just how much it's going to take to get there, because they are enlightened and gifted in that way, just as the feminines are. So this was in a spot where they felt like they had to hold on to themselves, hold on tightly what was theirs, and not share it, not let it go. And so they're releasing that mentality of having to hold on too tight and own a mentality of scarcity or lack. They're releasing that because they've stepped into their, stepping into their power, shining bright. And this one here is the hardened shell. They let go, they receive, they are listening to their spirit guides all around them. They have many angels around them, deceased loved ones around them. But they had an hard outer shell, perhaps even on their heart, but on their shine. They kept this shell on them so that they were toughened, so they wouldn't have a heartbreak. They wouldn't, don't let anybody in. This is almost the energy of the, and excuse my language, but someone that's proud to be a bitch because they think it protects themselves, and they're like, well, I'm just being myself. No, they were protecting themselves unjustly from being their true self, if they're that person, say, right? Because to be themselves is unconditional love and shine their bright. So they're releasing that mentality, that way of being. They're letting that guard down, and they're releasing the shell, and they're shining their light brightly, but more importantly, by letting this down, Spirit directed them and told them they want them to release the gifts that they were given, not be stingy and hold on them, and to let loose of that grip and use the gifts the Spirit has given you to shine bright, to help others, and to not be stingy and hold on so tight to them. And this could be even trying to hold on to the masculine too tight, say, no, he's my masculine, not the karmics, or whatever the case. But they're releasing that. They're releasing and letting go of the masculine. So if it was meant to be, that love will come back because of the magnetic pull. That's what I got from that. All right, let's see what else they're releasing. It's getting the tea probably, but I think it's very good to see how the collective is growing and nurturing themselves, stepping into their power. Okay, Spirit, give me, and divine spirits of the feminine higher selves, give me 3 precise messages for the masculines to see what their feminines are releasing and letting go of. 2 precise messages, Spirit, what the feminines are releasing and letting go of. I have too many. Not taking the ones on the floor. I usually do, but there's a whole pile. And I want to take them in the order they fell. They'll come back up if they were meant to be. They were. Okay, and don't let this trigger, I mean, it may be trigger some, if we say third party and you didn't know or something, remember not everything will resonate, but okay, just give me a second here. That's beautiful. So the first card up is Death. So they're releasing fear of death, of change. They're releasing the fear of letting go and accepting for what is. When we have this death card appear, it's an ending. It's not a death of a, you actually die, get buried type death. This is the death of the soul and rebirth. This is a death of a situation, person, place, or thing. This could be a death of a job, could be a death, and so forth. So they're accepting the fact that when they have these changes of endings in their lives, again, if it's, hang on, I gotta situate, get more comfortable. I've been doing readings all day. So they're releasing and letting go of controlling that and not accepting it. They are now accepting, releasing the fear that's almost 9 of Swords or 9 of Wands type energy of feeling self-imposed trap the minute they have this change. And they're releasing that mentality and seeing that this death card now brings new growth. A new flower here is blossomed from the earth. And so they are now realizing that death is not the end all, that it is meant for something good to come in out of that the beautiful rose in this card, it shines through all the death in the old that didn't serve them. So they're releasing the pain that's associated with the endings. perhaps the ending of a relationship, say, that used to cause heartache, or they had felt they needed to blame somewhere. You know, that blame game happens in the ending of a relationship. Instead, they have come to the realization that it's the death of that phase, that cycle, right? And there's no need for blame. Just accept the lesson, be thankful for the lessons and triggers that it helped you grow, and move to the next cycle. They're releasing the feeling out in the cold, to feel sorry for me. This woman looks like she's having a pity party right now, and it's not always this way. I read the cards, I'm channeling from Spirit, so this is feeling left out in the cold, but feeling almost a pity party of, this is all I get, I had all of this before, and this is all I have left for me. Like, stand up, clean up the mess, and move forward type. That's when I get this card, I'm like, why would you sit there and feel sorry for yourself? You still have two loves, 2 cups. So this is that mentality. 5, it's change. Again, 5 is change. But this is someone that they're releasing, okay, and letting go, feeling sorry for themselves when something happens, or when they experience this loss of death, the change. So now they are willing to accept the loss as a lesson, because they are releasing this mentality, this feeling. Okay, releasing the holding back from being the Fool card. They're releasing the control of divine timing. They understand now it is divine timing, and they can take that leap of faith and balance. And you know that it's not a juggling act. It is an art, but it's a leap of faith in the divine and in the divine timing. They're releasing the things that held them back from taking that leap of faith. Thank you, Spirit. They're releasing being that Queen of Swords, that biatch, right? Mentality of Queen of Swords. I'm going to cut you. I'm going to, off with their heads. Isn't that in Alice in Wonderland with the Queen of Swords, where they come into on the chessboard and she hollers out, off with their heads? That's her right here. So she's being done with that. So even if she comes across in a reading as a Queen of Swords, it's perhaps it's more the Queen of Swords that's in her truth, and she is ready to speak that truth, but she will speak it kindly. She will not use a sharp tongue. If she's in this level, right? She's going to have mercy on someone else's soul, their energy, understand things happen for a lesson. They happen for us, not to us. This is someone stepping up into this enlightenment. Thank you, Spirit. So they're releasing the double-edged sword, since there's money blades here. She's the mentality of seeing how she could get revenge. How could she cut back? How can she cut them? You know what I'm saying? So maybe she's had an epiphany on this, a light bulb moment, but she's definitely hearing from her higher self. Her third eye is open. She's seeing with her seer, and not her her 2 eyes, but really not needing to protect her heart any longer. She's being emotionally vulnerable because she's released the needing to be sharp-tongued or speak sharply. I don't know if I'm making myself clear on that. I keep getting sharp. Like a double-edged sword. Sometimes a woman can have, or a man, people can have a double-edged sword for a tongue type thing. Like everything they say is cuts the other person up and down, right? And she's releasing that way of being. Sharp tongue, I guess, is all I can keep saying or thinking on that card. Releasing the 10 of Wands is an ending of wands. But these are like briar bushes, prickers, having to struggle. She's putting an end to that struggle, putting an end to feeling like she's crawling on her belly, like she's got to fight for everything. She's putting an end to that feeling, putting an end to, which is great because she's in her power. She can let things come to her and understand the universe is energy, and what we manifest comes to us. We don't have to push and push and push against the door and realize finally that we're pushing the wrong way. You ever do that at a store? You go and boom, push the door and it's supposed to pull? It's that energy. She's putting an end to that. Maybe I'm the only one that does that. Just be real. So Page of Wands, communication, but immature communication. I'm almost, this little nose is kind of turned up, the way I'm seeing it right now. I love these cards though, they're beautiful. She's putting an end to turning her nose up at other people like she's better than them. She's putting an end to the communicating that like she's of a higher power, but it's from an immature energy, insecurity I'm hearing, that she was doing this before. So if she's presenting like she's better than someone, or communicating like she's of a higher, power, she's being more humble. She lost the ego. She's been humbled, and now she is no longer. She's putting an end to turning her nose up. I'm hearing at other people and feeling above them, or like they're beneath her. Okay, seeing people with her third eye, she sees them for their soul, not their 3D body now, right? So, and putting an end to the sneaky ways, deception, perhaps lies, pretending to be something she's not as well. She's seeing the light. Things that were illuminated in the moonlight back here, the sneakiness was being illuminated to her. So she's putting an end to not only being sneaky, conniving, stabbing people in the back, things that were illuminated. She was trying to be something she's not. This bird, for some reason, is not sure if she's a crow or a bluebird. Look at that. It's got a blue wings, but a crow's head. Maybe. And also feeling out in the cold, like, oh, you abandoned me. No, like, don't, she's putting an end to that feeling as well, just because she had to pull back from him, per se, or vice versa, but she's no longer she's not allowing herself to feel like, poor me, I'm left out in the cold, he's abandoned me. She's releasing the feeling of being abandoned. She's gone in and done her inner child healing on abandonment, is what that is too, for some. Okay, and this is good, this is important, okay? Because as the Divine Feminine and the High Priestess, we know that we reach a point in this journey when we reach, we've done our healing, a good majority of it by the time this comes around, and that affects the masculine. The masculine goes in and does their healing, and when they start to transform as well. But the Divine Feminine reaches that point where she does have to pull back, stop chasing, right? Before the feminine, whichever gender awoke first is the one I'm speaking of. Okay, so the first one awoke was the chaser, the other counterpart is the runner, and then all of a sudden the chaser, and in this conversation we're going to say it's the feminine, realized that it was time to pull back and not focus, and part of her healing is that her masculine's not going to come to her if she's needy and wanting. Spirit is not going to. If you're in a want, I want him, I want him, I want him, or I want this, I want that. That is not in a loving yourself mentality or a way of being, okay? Way of thinking, I guess. So if you're wanting someone to give you love and wanting the loyalty from someone, you're in a place of wanting that stability, but not willing to perhaps put the work into it, but you just want it because you want it. Or if you just want that man because he's a king, she's putting an end to this way of thinking. Her wanting. Yes, thank you. When you're doing the work and you get to that point, it's like, man, why? I don't understand. Why am I at that brick wall? Like, and something's just not moving forward. Then you keep that rubber band moving back, forth, right? Sometimes it's because the feminine was wanting it too much. She was chasing too much, over-watering and over-nurturing him because she wanted him to heal. She wanted him to love himself, and if he couldn't love her, so she kept over-watering. I'm probably going over this too much, but it's still coming in as a channel, so just need to for some reason this is important to explain the depth of needing to let go of, and she has released and let go of the wanting this too much, the passion too much, wanting the stability, the Four of Wands energy just because she wants it, not necessarily for the right reasons, and wanting too much, maybe thinking she needs this. So it was if that's the energy we're putting out to the ethers, then that's what's coming in is, oh, she's too wanting, too clingy type thing. So she's released that. She's recognized that she loves herself. She doesn't need someone else because she's self-sufficient, and she doesn't want them to come serve her, but it would be nice probably to enjoy one another's company. Maybe she's had that transition, but she's released these and let go of it. So the masculine's at this point, because here too with the camel, she's let go of that clinging on to just enough, right, lack mentality. She's let down the shield and going to shine her light brightly and use her gifts for everyone. Have unconditional love for all living creatures, plants, crystals, people, animals, etc. And she's realized that, so now she can share that love with everyone. So the masculine now will then be the chaser, because he's going to feel that she pulled away. So the rubber band then comes back this way, so then the runner then switches roles and is then the chaser. And it stays that way until they make the connection again, or union. So if you're on a break right now, that's why, because she's released these. Alright, let me get the clarifications on some of these before it goes much longer. Spirit's still giving me more on those, but we're going to clarify. We can get more messages with the clarification if we have to. Clarify the Death card for what the Divine Feminines, the Chasers, had released, let go of, please, recently. Clarifying Death card with what they've released and let go of. Communication for one. Snake or okay. So on the Death card, the Page of Wands is usually communication, constant communication coming in with passion, a lot of passion coming in, sexual energy, maybe even offers, but wearing a mask as well is here, putting in a lot of flames, a lot of passion in this card, a lot of player, and like, you know, that player energy with the wands. But this was, yeah, so putting an end to the passion and the sexual combination, maybe there's sex texting, for instance. Putting an end to that sort of communication and allowing the pause for the masculine to then realize that he's now the chaser. And when he realizes that magnetic pull and he can't take it anymore, he does his healing. Spirit will light his passion up enough to be chaser. So she's putting an end to that kind of communication so that he does receive that, right? It's part of his healing stuff. It's part of the process from Spirit. This King of Swords is usually when I get this card. It's shooting high in the stars, but shooting your truth, giving your truth out and to not only the ethers, but to all those around. And that truth then closes the gap of between you, because if there was a gap of communication, truthful communication, this closes the gap between the two of you. It's in reverse, so she's closing that communication as well. She's no longer trying to fix the gap between the two of you. Why? Because it's not her job to pull you in anymore. It's now her job to release and let the masculine close that communication and come in. I'll put it this way for a minute. But it was reversed, so. Okay, clarify 5 of Cups. The feeling sorry for me, releasing the feeling sorry for me, letting go of the lack mentality, which is awesome. She's done a great job healing, really done her work, expecting a gift. Okay, so she's released the thought of the Page of Cups, waiting of something to come to her, something, feeling like she deserves the gifts, or what's that other word? It's right there at the bridge of my forehead. Entitled, thank you, Spirit. Feeling like she's entitled to the gifts, her gifts from Spirit, instead of being grateful for the gifts from Spirit. So she's releasing that expectation, which is kind of also, if you're in that, then you would have that probably feel sorry for me mentality, like, oh, I deserve more. But she's released all that. Even if she didn't have very much of it, it's still something she's let go of in her journey. So 8 of Wands, this is feeling like Spirit is pushing her, like she's being pushed. And we all in the beginning, right? Like, you'd get these urges, not urges, but like, you knew, you had that inner knowing that, oh, I've got to do this. This is, this is part of my journey, because Spirit made you know that. Spirit pushed her. So she's released the feeling of being pushed, because it's now willingness. She's surrendered to Spirit and not fighting it. She's surrendered the journey and the connection for Spirit to just allow and let be, to unfold as it shall. The Fool card here of no longer being held. She let go of being held back from taking the leap forward. She released the holding herself back. Fool card, clarify Fool card. Released the Hangman mode. She released herself from Hangman mode, the initiation phase. She's released herself because she surrendered to the divine and said, as it shall be, right? So that allowed her to be freed from the Hangman mode, cut herself down. Clarify the 7 of Swords. Okay. So Spirit showed her the Divine Feminines, or the Original Chaser, right? I'm going to hold this up. This is a cool card. So Spirit showed her snake energy, the devil energy that she was in tune, or being. She was pretending to be something she wasn't. The snake energy could be sexual actions or addictions even, or it could be other addictions. I see a bowl of liquid down here. And this. Many hands. Oh. So, releasing she had her hands into something that was not of Spirit. Something that was not a positive Spirit, I should say. So Spirit showed her these things, so she's released them and let them go. She had the feeling like her life was out of control. 5 of Coins here, and feeling like her life was just falling apart. She was out of control. She couldn't get a control of her life, basically. And she's let that feeling go, and she's taken control of her life. She's stepping into her power. Her Knight or King of Wands, she's wrestled her demons and worrying about what other people think I'm getting from this, and worrying about what people see when they see or how they see her, worrying about what they think. She's put a rest to that, or put a stop to that, and she's speaking her truth. She's being in her truth, but she's had to wrestle it. And you see in the back, there's 2 people back there watching, right? Put an end to snake energy, and her ego, her egotistical thinking she's a goddess, and knowing that she's a divine being, but not using it in a sexual way, I'm getting, which was the snake energy coming out on this card. A twisted way of thinking. She was seeing things twisted, or twisting things her way. Thank you, Spirit. She was twisting things her way, and to get her way, I'm hearing. So she's put an end to that, and the snake's in the bottom. Okay, put an end to the 6 of coins not being balanced, not give and take. She was hoarding it all. She was trying to keep it all for herself. She was hiding, perhaps hiding her talents, hiding her money. This is a drum card, actually, and they're all playing musical instruments, so perhaps someone is musical, but I'm hearing that they're hiding it and not sharing it with the universe. Putting a stop to that. Okay, Queen of Swords. What are they stopping or putting an end to for Queen of Swords? What are they putting an end to for Queen of Swords? The sharp tongue story. Letting the demons being two-faced. Okay. Not taming her dragon within. This is the Hierophant card, but usually it's like by this time when you reach the Hierophant, I always say that they're able to train their dragon? No. Control their dragon, train their dragon, whatever. We have an inner dragon, right? If someone, a woman or anybody really, has jealousy or envy or something like that, and as soon as you see someone talking to your divine counterpart, that dragon comes up, right, with like envy or jealousy. And that's learning to tame them, to tame the dragon. I don't know if that's a very good analogy, but it's my analogy. So she's no longer allowed the dragon to show that it's now tamed, which is great. Takes a lot of work. Justice is here for the 10 of Wands, which is an ending. The 10 is an ending, right? And so, which we know she put an end to that, fighting and battling through the prickers and weeds. And this is a vulture, so she's put an end to being a vulture. Thinking that she was the justice and jury. Thank you, Spirit. Nothing to do with the vultures. Well, it's kind of a vulture energy, though. But she thought she was justice. She was going to serve justice. Thank you. So revenge comes to mind here. So she's put an end to trying to get revenge, perhaps with magic I'm seeing on here. Perhaps at some point some of the feminines have tried doing magic or had played games for justice, for revenge. So putting an end to the mentality, which goes along with taming the dragon, I suppose. If she's no longer jealous or envious of things, then perhaps she's learned to control her temper in a way that she doesn't have to feel like she needs to get revenge. To get ahead. Playing games to get ahead, I just heard. For somebody, I don't know who that was for, but the Page of Wands. Putting an end to illusions, pretending to be something they're not, trying to be held to a higher, for people, worried about people see them, which also matches that card. Putting an end to the 9 of Swords being tied down or traps, but it's self-imposed. Putting an end to thinking that the only thing in life is the cup of love. The only thing that I need is love, right? Which goes to these, because I'm really getting this was all she could focus on for some of them was to have someone love her, to you know, that's what she needed per se. But this is putting an end to that. So it's welcoming it now if it comes and lets it flow and nurtures her heart, but she's just allowing it now. She's put an end to thinking that's what she needs, that's what she deserves. And this Page of Coins is a message coming in, thinking she has to make a loud entrance. I'm getting. I don't know who that's for, because I don't know how many. But this is not needing to make a loud entrance, or the look at me. Maybe somebody likes all the attention on them, or used to, so they put an end to that. Look at me, I'm getting, yeah. I think I got that feeling a little bit with the Empress card that came up. Where was that? Yeah, I got that a little bit with this one too, with the snake, was look at me, look at me. Oh well. Alright, 10 of Cups, another 10, or again, another 10. Clarify 10 of Cups. Greed and thinking they're above someone else. Okay. Spirit wanted me to pull from the bottom for a minute. Alright, so putting an end to this, and this could go thinking that this is all that matters, this is what they deserve, but yet this could go either way. For some it's one way, and for some it's another way, I'm getting, okay? For some it's putting an end to being the third party, putting an end to throwing rocks at the karmic, thinking ill or cursing with words the karmic, or meditating negatively against the karmic. And I'm just, it could be against any other person actually, I'm just saying the karmic. And then for some it is putting an end to the third party situation. So for some of the feminines, they may have had another person with them, living with them, married to them, or entertaining, you know, having someone to entertain them, whatever you say on that one. Putting an end to greed and material possessions, thinking that all their material possessions are, that's who they are, that's what makes them shine. Putting an end to that material or mentality, thinking, or because it was a faulty foundation. Putting an end to the devil energy, no, moon energy, my bad, I thought, yeah, devil is here. Okay, moon energy, the shadows in the moonlight, it lights up what, right? It illuminates what was hidden in the shadows. So she is, and it's a three-party situation here with these being entertained by these naked people. So this could be her no longer worrying about it, putting an end to focusing on that, which is good. You don't need to worry about what they're doing over there. Or it's her entertaining other persons, could be someone bisexual, or could go any way. These could be men in here. Just the picture is feminist. Putting an end to not using her gifts. Again, someone's not using their gifts to their highest power. Spirit sending them birds, messages from the birds, showing them. Oh, that's creepy. That they are healers, that they have healing hands, and they're supposed to be sharing their gifts. They have this a gift to also speak to spirits, I'm seeing here. But then at the top there's a snake. Maybe it's sex magic, or using sex. Not sure. I'm not really getting anything from the snake, but I saw the snake and it was drawn to me. So maybe that's just a synchronicity to someone watching. But someone's not using their gifts that Spirit has given them as a healer. They have healing hands, healing energy, and they have the gift of speaking to spirits and hearing them, not just their spirit guides, but other spirits. And there's a bird here. I mean, on here it looks white, but it almost looks more like a hawk. But perhaps putting an end to not paying attention to synchronicities, because I have the bird and the snake. So maybe it's not listening, period, to the synchronicities and messages from Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, that's what it is. Putting an end to the chaos and the mess and the weeds and the, oh my gosh, you're just letting things pile up. They are seeing this with their third eye and ignoring it. So things are piling up and getting out of control. Putting an end to that. Remember, this putting an end to it. And same with this putting an end to they're finally going to step into their gifts, their power. And putting an end to devil energy, wearing multiple masks, also someone that's done magic, or again, paid someone to do magic for them. Binding spells I'm getting in order to keep someone tied or bound away from their counterpart, their divine counterpart. So putting an end to being dark, from the darkness. Things that are putting an end to funneling something. Anyway, there's that. I don't know what was up with the funneling message. If that's a message for somebody, they'll know what it means. Funneling money. What do you funnel? You funnel money? Funnel. That's going to drive me nuts. Maybe that's too much tea that I can't say. The Spirit's not telling me the rest of that. Alright. Clarify the wand. Of these. Putting an end to manifesting for the wrong reasons. But I don't know if you can manifest something that's not for your highest good. I mean, I guess as a light worker or someone that only thinks of it more of light and of that. But this is about money. Wheel of Fortune coming that wants to move forward, putting an end to blockage, putting an end to trying to get money for the wrong reasons or their fortune for the wrong reasons. Or they are putting an end to blocking it. It's a 10, it's an end. So that could be 1, 2, 3 different people, Spirit saying that affects 3 different people. So some are putting an end to blocking their fortune coming in. Some are putting an end to trying to manifest the wrong way or reason. Okay, King of Cups. New beginning is the Ace of Swords with this cup of King of Cups of the need, the want, right? The new beginning. Putting an end to dark communication. Okay, I'm just going to say the sense of dark communication but truth. Okay, so this makes me think of, so you're maybe being too harsh with your truth because it's dark. It's not dark as in like evil, dark as in not very nice. So I'm thinking it's sarcasm. If you're using sarcasm as a way to get truth across, please stop. And I'm working on it as well. So this is a message is putting an end to using sarcasm for truth, putting an end to just blurting out their truth because they thought, well, I've got to be in my authentic self. I've got to be true. Yes, you do. But speak words of kindness. Speak love and light. You're the divine feminine, masculines, both of you. But this is putting an end to this, remember? So, and putting an end to sexual, okay, I just heard sex magic, for one. For two, being drawn to another man or a person just for sex, being tied to that person due to sex. So whether that's through magic or just trying to allure them with your body, putting an end to that and focusing on connecting at a soul level. And again, I got voodoo off this card somehow, but I'm not sure why. I guess sex magic could be considered voodoo, but if they're tied together, I'll show you. This is usually a good card, but since we're looking at what they're ending, right? Could be Kama Sutra. Isn't? No, not that. Sorry. What's that other one? Tantric sex? I did get tantric sex in the general reading today and in career and finance, which only knows why. But, so maybe it's tantric sex, you know, where they like bondage type stuff. Putting an end to that. 5 of Wands is usually coming out of the cold. For me, this is battles, fighting, standing up against other people, or say being 5 different people, like being someone they're not, putting an end to it. Putting an end to the need to be the star of the show, putting an end to needing to be the focus of the divine masculine. And that again goes with the release. Planting the seeds in the wrong. This is the 2 of Coins, equal balance, going within, meditating, but cleaning up the weeds and planting your seeds correctly. Planting seeds is usually what it is, but they planted the seed in the house, and this tree is growing inside, which means it's planted in the wrong place. So putting an end to planting seeds in the wrong place. This could be person, place, thing. Doesn't have to be seeds of the human. Okay? Of their old self, of being a zombie. This is perfect ending for this part. They're putting an end to the caterpillar stage, putting an end to being an earth zombie, and they have gone within enough to heal. They've transformed from the cocoon, melted down through their death of their rebirth of the soul, and they have emerged a beautiful butterfly in transformation, and now they're glowing. And it's exactly, pretty much what this shows. Anything from this deck? Just a couple cards. And then I'm going to switch to the anything from this deck, Spirit, for this reading, for what the divine feminines are releasing and letting go of, so that the divine masculine knows she's doing the work. I'm not taking that pile, it fell off. It's stuck together at that. Oops, okay. Putting an end to the blocking communication. For some that are blocking the masculines, some of the masculines want to come in with their truth. They want to come in with passion and communicate, but the divine feminine is putting a stop to that. So perhaps they're have a block that's blocking it, or perhaps they've blocked you on their phone because of some of the pain, or because they're still going through this transformation and healing. Page of Cups. Nurturing themselves, but putting an end to worrying about, thank you, Spirit, of what's going on over there. Thank you, Spirit. And putting an end to worrying about when you're coming in with your truth. Worrying about, okay, not much hitting home. Alright, so maybe this is putting, also for some, it's putting an end to worrying about when you're coming. When are they coming? They're supposed to tell me the truth. They're supposed to bring me a message. I saw it on 10 other YouTube channels. Putting an end to that focus. Putting an end to worrying about if he's ignoring the karmic or other people. And putting an end to the Nine of Swords energy of self-entrapment, doing her own rituals for self-growth, because she's putting an end, taking herself out of that energy. Just a few messages from this, and we'll close the reading. These were the channeled messages that I just keep adding to as Spirit directs me. So they are not fancy cards. I do plan on making my own decks eventually. I have a lot of ideas for them. I just have to have time. Okay, every reading I've done so far today has had the word envy or jealousy, but actually envy came up every reading I've done. So clearly the collective needs to heal this, okay? We need to go within our inner child and see why we are envious of someone else. Maybe your siblings or someone else around you, or the neighbors or the friends got toys you didn't get as a young child, or that created envy. Or perhaps you were raised by a family that was always envious of the neighbors, that sort of thing, that it then developed, right? Like a snowball, it grows and grows. But this needs to be healed by a few in the group, must be, because it keeps coming up for every reading I do, masculines or feminines readings as well. And all signs pretty much have gotten it. Okay, volunteer to help others. So this is advice from Spirit. For the divine masculines or the divine feminine, but the masculines are watching. Volunteer to help others, perhaps a homeless shelter or food bank, perhaps an animal shelter, but offer to help others. If not else, and you have an elderly neighbor that maybe needs help, help them. What is your spirit plan? I got this a lot, so it's also important. I got this a few times last week as well. So what is your spirit plant? When you think of what a spirit plant is, it's usually the first, to me, it's the first plant that comes to mind that you like. That's probably the reason is because it means something to you, so you have a connection with it. So then go within, study on that plant to see what nurtures that plant, what kind of things do they like, do they grow well in the sunlight and don't need a lot of water, or don't, you know, like me. My spirit plant, one of them is the bamboo. They don't need a lot of attention. They don't need... I'm spilling tea on myself here. They don't need a lot of water. They don't need a lot of sun. They just do very well no matter what they get. So study that to see how your soul is similar to that plant. And then do the same with your crystals and see how you... whatever crystal you like, because they are energy as well. We're all one, connected energetically. So, my apologies, my sister. Amethyst wand opens the sixth chakra, the third eye, the seer, which we saw here with the feminines having open. It also removes blockages from the sacral chakra. So, for some of you may have sacral chakra, or any issues with that region, that's your reproductive organs. They feel you and mirror the mirror effect. So remember this, like when we hear each other telepathically, right? So remember the mirror effect is real. And I'm just being drawn to the deck over here still. I'm going to take the one that I'm being drawn to, and it says you are strong enough. And I feel like this just goes with, must be everything, because for some reason it popped right out, and it's like, you are strong enough, so you can do this. Your ancestors are sending you messages. Listen quietly, give thanks. Yesterday was amazing when I was doing readings. I had 6 hawks outside my window right here, flying around. So finally, of course, I had to go outside and take a picture. So I get outside and then I decided to go for a walk. They followed me on a mile-long walk all the way back to my house. Now, if that's not a clear message, I just have to finish dissolving or downloading what it was. I thought that was amazing. So if you're getting messages with animals around your house, or, you know, your ancestors are there sending you messages. Did you choose money or did you choose unconditional love? This was a test from the universe. Okay, I can speak. The universe. The universe tests us when we get to that bridge, the gate. It's the shoot. Initiation. Thank you, Spirit. Initiation phase, like you're almost ready to go through that gate to the next level to transform once again, or the rebirth, right? So you'll get tested with other soulmates coming in, or people that are attracted to you for whatever reason, and it's a test. But also, if you're still, say, with the karmic, and you choose because they're stable, or you choose someone to go with them because they have a lot of money or security financial wise, or are you still staying on this journey for unconditional love with your divine masculine or divine feminine? It was a test from the universe, so depending on how you chose, you either chose right or wrong. And if you chose wrong and chose money, then you probably are in a new cycle with that karmic or that lesson to learn that lesson again. List 10 things you are thankful for. Thank the universe for it, which is great because it's Thanksgiving season, right? So we probably are all thinking of what we're thankful for. I'm thankful for all of you. Hubble Bubble Witch reminds us you have nothing to fear and very much to be thankful for. And remember that fear is an illusion. So this is what I have for you, divine masculines, of what your female or divine feminines, divine feminines have stopped or released. All right? Have a great day.